Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everyone. We will now call the meeting to order. Madame la Greffière.
Your Worship, all public meetings of Moncton City Council are simultaneously translated. Hearing devices are available. You have the right to address the City Council in the official language of your choice. Meetings are also simulcast in both languages on the City of Moncton's YouTube channel and can be found on our website at moncton.ca. If you're registered with the City Clerk's office prior to the agenda deadline, 7 days before the meeting, you will be given 5 minutes for your presentation. All other presentations will be given 2 minutes. You will receive a reminder when 1 minute is remaining. Please note, no presenter shall speak disrespectful of council, staff, or a member of the general public. The use of offensive or profane language will not be tolerated. Any breach of this guideline may result in the presenter being asked to leave the council chambers at the discretion of the chair. Un service d'interprétation simultanée est offert durant.
All public meetings in Moncton City Council have simultaneous interpretation services, and you have the right to address council in the official language of your choice. Meetings are streamed in both languages on the YouTube channel and can be found on our website at moncton.ca. If you have registered with the City Clerk's office before the deadline, 7 days before the meeting, you will be given 5 minutes for your presentation. Otherwise, you will be given 2 minutes. You will receive a reminder when 1 minute is remaining. Please note, no presenter shall speak disrespectfully of council, staff, or a member of the general public. The use of offensive or profane language shall not be tolerated. Any breach of this guideline may result in the presenter being asked to leave the council chambers at the discretion of the chair. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Yes, we will be removing item 7.2, public hearing zoning bylaw amendments 1430, 1450 Elmwood Drive. The reason is we've received some information late this afternoon with respect to the zoning. In light of this, it would be prudent to pull the item from the agenda to give administration proper time to review the information and prepare any possible response. As such, the public hearing should be postponed to May 20th. We would like to remind council, as with any rezoning matter, that this is a quasi-judicial process and to maintain procedural fairness. If individual councilors are contacted by the applicant, proponent of the project, or objectors, kindly encourage them to attend the hearing and remain neutral. The proper venue to hear these positions is the hearing, during which council will render their decision at the end of the process.
Merci, Madame la Greffière. So we do have a change to the agenda. Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda, Conseillère Leblanc and Conseillère Légère? So a show of hands. Any questions? No? A show of hands. All those in favor? C'est beau, unanime. Merci. Madame la Greffière.
Next is conflict of interest, les déclarations des conflits d'intérêt.
Est-ce qu'il y a des conflits d'intérêt?
Are there any conflicts of interest today? No? All right.
Des procès-verbaux. Aujourd'hui, les séances ordinaires publiques du
We have the adoption of the minutes of the September 3rd, 2024, 20th of January 2025, and 2nd of February 2025. Would somebody like to move and second the adoption of the minutes, please? Okay. Moved and seconded by Councillors Légère and Kingston.
Donc, all those in favor, manual show of hands, please. Donc, motion carried unanimously. Merci.
There are no consent agenda. Des questions soumises à l'approbation du Conseil. Ils n'ont pas ce soir. On a 3 présentations.
We have 3 public presentations this evening.
Please forgive me if I don't say this right. Koyo Koshin Kenbo-K Karate Team, and Deputy Mayor Thériault is going to read and present you with a certificate.
Merci, Madame la Greffière. Bienvenue, Monsieur Cormier. Bienvenue à votre équipe.
Welcome, Mr. Cormier. Welcome to your team.
You won 17 trophies in martial arts, so that's really worth being recognized this evening. So if you can come forward, venez, on va vous présenter un certificat.
If you would like to come forward, we will present you with a certificate.
Everybody see me? That means if you see me, I see you. All right. They know.
The next presentation is a presentation by Mortis Audi, Veterans in Focus. Monsieur Audi.
I think I have it right. Um, Okay, I just hit the screen.
That's all you have to do is just press the button.
The button, what button? Which button?
You can move it up.
Oh, I can do that? Oh, no, it's okay. How do I change the
The
slides?
slide, I
Yeah,
think if you just.
okay, all right.
Bonsoir, Maurice.
Right here, okay.
Bonsoir.
Sorry, merci, sorry, I don't, 5 minutes and me don't go very well. So I just want to say merci pour l'occasion de vous parler aujourd'hui.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you this evening.
And it's called Veterans in Focus. It is a Cameras for Healing presentation or initiative. And I would like to introduce Roselba, who's a teacher from Mackenzie College, and Stacy, who's a student at Mackenzie College. And I've partnered with the college to bring young students to meet and photograph, interview, and document veterans. We are starting right now, because of time is of the essence, with veterans from World War II. We just photographed 3 veterans. I'll show you a few. And it's a beautiful project. I think it's an important project, and it's going to be a legacy project. So it's one of my biggest projects for those of you who know my projects with Cameras for Healing, and I'm very proud of it. So I'm going to just, hopefully this works. The vision of the project is every veteran has a story. We help them share share it with dignity, creativity, and truth. This is a gentleman that we photographed, Stacy and I, just 2 weeks ago, 102-year-old Frederick Hawthorne, World War II veteran in the Army, and he was part of the liberation of Holland, which is now Netherlands, back in the day. And the stories that he tells us and shares with us is really something very special. The purpose of the project is to honor and document the lives of veterans, to foster understanding through storytelling and visual arts, to build bridges between generations, which is the one major key of the project, and to promote healing through creative expression. The approach, we're pairing young photographers with veterans, training sessions on respectful storytelling, one-on-one interviews and portrait sessions, and public exhibits at the final work. I'm going fast here. So the impact of connection. When youth and veterans unite, personal growth, empathy, pride, and respect thrive. And that's the foundation of Cameras for Healing, is to have people thrive. Here is an amazing woman, Gladys Constable, 105 years old. We photographed her a few months ago, last month, just a few weeks ago. And she said to us, she says, I never imagined my story would matter to someone so young. And her story is amazing, of a woman during the war. Doing the things that she did. She used to be the one that took care of calculating all the logistics, times, distance, flight, weight for bombers to go bomb Germany so they could come back home safe. It's quite a story. And she's 105, and she really opened up to us and told us everything. So you can see a picture of her when she was young and today. And here's Stacy right here, and myself after we finished the shoot. But the artistic process is telling stories through imagery, capturing the essence of lives lived, emphasis on respect, vulnerability, and of course, trust. And students are learning how to document photographically. The end exhibit will be, we're sponsored by l'Hôtel Beau Séjour, Delta Hotel, and they're going to convert the lobby into a gallery to host this project that we want to launch November 1st, Remembrance Month. And they're going to do a big reception around it. You're all going to be invited. So we're very excited about the project. And of course, to get involved, volunteer support, we're looking for that. It's a very costly and intense project. And we're very proud to be part of it. And if there's any questions for Mackenzie College, the student or the teacher, we'd be happy to answer them. Thank you all. Really appreciate this.
Merci infiniment, Maurice.
Thank you ever so much, Maurice. It's a superb project.
Conseiller Légère. C'est Légère.
Ah, merci. Merci, Madame la Mairesse. Merci, Maurice.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Maurice.
Thanks for doing this. I'm wondering if you've drawn the attention of Veteran Affairs. And hopefully, if you have not, then I hope you will now.
Will.
Because it really is very special. In particular, the photographs, but the stories that go with it and making that connection. So hopefully you do. And I'm sure that Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor would be very interested in
She already is.
moving that forward. So, yeah. Anyway, this is great initiative with Mackenzie College, and wish you the best in terms of looking forward to the photographs. And is your intention too to create a storybook or something along that
That's
line?
where, yes. Of course, there's going to be an exhibit. Each photograph will be, at the end, donated back to the veteran and or the veteran's residence, where we are concentrating all the older ones right now. And yes, the book.
And could there be a place for this in our museum, and perhaps a partnership with Resergo?
I would love to talk to
So-
you about that.
So,
For sure.
so I would say maybe to the city manager that maybe something
Yeah.
could be developed, because I
would
think
be-
it is the mandate to maintain those memories and continue those connections, and I think that would be a really good.
And what we're
connection.
planning also is we have a transcriber and a translator and all that stuff. And what we want to do, or the goal is, every photograph, when people look at it, there's going to be a QR code next to it. So when you hit the QR code on your phone, you're looking at the picture, you'll hear the story of the person,
Oh,
both in French and English.
excellent. Anyway, congratulations and great partnership with Mackenzie College and look forward to the results at the end.
Thank you.
Merci.
Merci encore. Merci, conseiller Jean. No other questions, Madame la greffière?
The next presentation, c'est une présentation du transport public à Moncton, résultat.
It's a presentation on the results of the Moncton Transit Survey. We have Rita Benhima today, as well as Marc Leblanc.
Bonsoir, Madame la Mairesse.
Good evening, Your Worship. Good evening to you, councillors.
This evening with
Just
Benhami, agent de liaison en logement et transport hors campus de l'Université de Moncton.
the liaison officer for transportation and accommodation off campus from the University of Moncton. And this evening, she's going to present on the Kodiak Transpo survey that was conducted. Rita. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity this evening. I will be speaking French, as well as off-campus accommodations. I work on public transit as well in order to make transportation easier for our staff and our students, and to help contribute in reducing in helping the fight against climate change and to improve the air quality. We hoping to reach a carbon neutral state by 2040 here. Now, were you aware that every 3 out of 4 people do not use public transit?
Dans un contexte d'une ville comme Moncton,
And in the context of a city such as Moncton, which has one of the fastest growth rates in Canada, public transit is an important component that has to accompany the growth. When we look at the different issues such as the environment, the society, and the economy that are dear to the university, and keeping in mind and keeping a focus on the attractiveness and the reliability and the safety of public transit. Now, in the next slides, I will share some information that came out of our survey that the team thought important to share with you. The first one is this graph here that shows that only 32% of the university population uses public transit. So there is an important gap there of 68% that we can bring into the public transit family. The second slide. No, it's different on my screen here. No, so the smaller pie that you see on the right, that's just where we see the 36% that are in green on the larger pie on the left. So what I'm trying to show here is that more than 60% of people preferred to answer on the challenges they find to take the bus, and therefore they prefer to use a car or travel on foot or by bike. But those that did answer indicated that the schedules were not convenient, the trip is too long, the service is not reliable, or it's too expensive. And there's another 7% that gave comments that I can read out to you. They said quicker and more frequent trips between my house and the university would be wonderful. I would be happy to take the bus, but I am in favor of public transit. Another one said that it's safer. It's safer to use my own car. Another one said, I live away from the routes of the buses. Another one said, I live just a few minutes away from campus. The routes are dysfunctional. There's a loop that only goes in one direction. Somebody has said the bus stop is too far away from home. So those are some of the comments that the users gave us. And in this last slide here, it shows the rate of insatisfaction in terms of the wait time at the bus stop. So if you can see here, it's about 70% that are not satisfied. In short, the 5 points that came out of the survey to explain their dissatisfaction. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Councillor Bourgeois. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I do have a question, and I'm relying on my memory here, but 10 years ago, approximately, we had prepared a survey amongst the University of Moncton student population to see if the students were ready to add, I don't remember how much it was going to be. It was something like $20 a year, I think, to get a bus pass for the 8 months, the 8 months of their university year. And I think it was even almost a referendum type question on campus, but it had been refused. People didn't want to hear about it. And at the time we thought, because there was no real explanation, but we thought that about half of the students already had a car. And I see that it's still about the same today. It's about 58% or 50% or 48% of the students have their own car. So when, of course, I'm older. When I went to the University of Moncton, very few of us had a car, but this idea, this possibility of getting an annual bus pass or a 8-month-long bus pass paid by all students in order to increase the frequency of the trips, of the routes that would go closer to the University of Moncton or that would end up there. Was that considered in your survey? Yes, absolutely. In fact, this question was asked during the survey before we designed the survey. And the reason that the students didn't accept that is that the majority of them live in zones that aren't served by a bus route. And so they had to have a car. And that's why that percentage keeps going up. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's certain students said that it's too expensive, the price of the bus. So it's expensive. That a monthly pass is $38 currently, and they find that quite expensive. Now, if it costs more than what parking costs at the university, well, they're going to prefer remaining independent and use their car rather than having to take the bus. So that's what we see. Well, I'd like to have a copy. I don't know if you have a written report. Along with the councillors Richard and Butler, I sit on the governance committee of the 3 municipalities responsible for public transit. And we're constantly exploring different options. And there's always, I mean, it's a question of the chicken or the egg, right? Do we draw new routes and then the students live there and then after 2 or 3 years they move somewhere else? But can we design a system that would meet with all of the needs? How much would we have to invest, hoping that the frequency and the ridership goes up? But if we could discuss it first, we could bring this issue up to the committee at least. Yes, I have a report that we can share with you. We're available, of course. It's Danielle.bourgeois@moncton.ca. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Bourgeois. Councillor Richard. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Rita, for your presentation.
Oui, merci pour la présentation.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. There are 2 bus lines that go right on the campus lines, bus line 61 and 50. Is one worse than the other? Is one better than the other? I do have statistics, but I didn't memorize them. but there's the 16 bus goes there as well on on the on the on the other side of campus. So they serve a number of students that live in the Sunny Bray and the northern part of neighborhood of McLaughlin. But some of them are in Markham North. You talked about the 50 bus line that it does one loop. It comes down from the north. It might be quick, but to go back home, it's the other direction of the loop. So it takes over 50 minutes. Well, if you could give us more information, if that would be helpful, if you don't have the information here today. I was just wondering which of the two lines is worse. And what are the hours that are missing, the times? Well, classes go until past 9 p.m., whereas the last bus goes by before 9 p.m. So those students, they don't have public transit, especially those that don't have a car. So I have a question then, if you could come back with more information. And I see Mark is here. Yeah, we're here to help you. And are some destinations more popular than others? Certain neighborhoods, are they underserved, serviced? If we could have that information, perhaps we could, that would be helpful. We could, yes, well, the students go live where the rent is cheapest, and it can be Dieppe, it can be Riverview or Moncton. So they're spread out. There isn't one zone. I mean, they're right around the university, of course, there are more students, a higher density of students, but they all travel on foot. But we have to service all of the outlying areas. Between the university and Georges Dumont, I mean, it's not just the university population either. It's the greater population, but need buses to go to the hospital or to the university. And I think you talked about the monthly pass, $38, 58, did you say? Could we have more information then? Because I'm just wondering as well, there are different prices on the site, and an employer, it's $46 per month if you're a student. For an employer, why can't we use that rate? Perhaps we could have a clarification to see why we can't get that lower rate. On the Kodiak Transport website, all of the rates, the bus pass rates are there. And for an employer, if you have a student, a full-time student working for you, it's like $10 less, $10 off a month. So perhaps there might be a reason why we can't use that rate, but well, that's one of the challenges too, is to getting information and communication. It's very hard. I just learned this now today. So all the students say that we pay $58 a month for the monthly rate, whereas otherwise it would be $76 or $78 a month. Well, we can at least discuss it, right? We can have that conversation. Thank you. Yeah, and as counselor, it's not when I was there. It's my car is paul.richard@moncton.ca. Thank you. If there are no further questions, then thank you, Mark, and thank you for having come this evening. It's much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
There are two this evening. First up is Senior Programming Review Update with Aloma Jardine and Ellen Jeffries.
Bonsoir, Aloma et Ellen.
Good
Bienvenue.
evening, Aloma and Ellen. Welcome. Good evening.
Information with you in a public forum. I just started. So in November, Council created a new role, a Community Development Officer for seniors and for youth. And around the same time, Council asked staff to learn more about Moncton Seniors programming needs and wants with respect to recreation. So we decided at the time to take the opportunity to do a seniors-focused public engagement exercise. And the goals were to understand what's currently available, to identify any gaps in services and programming, and then to identify opportunities where the city could have an impact and improve access to age-friendly recreation. And we had three main activities on the slide there. So direct consultations with groups that provide recreation activities in Moncton, in-person engagement sessions, and as well an online survey. Les consultations avec les parties intéressées étaient très
As for consultations with interested and affected parties was a very positive exercise. We communicated with 14 different groups, which allowed the staff at the recreation service to create bridges with those organizations. What we found is that there's already a lot of programming for seniors in Moncton, but the groups offering those programs have the same challenges. Challenges in finding appropriate facilities. They often rely on word of mouth for their promotion, and they also have funding from volunteers and staff, and they have challenges in terms of transportation and accessibility.
In-person sessions across the city, and we had more than 500 people come to those, which we were super pleased with. The main goal of those events was to gather information through the survey, which I'll talk about in a minute. And we did have some engagement activities at the events as well and collected some data, but the goal of those activities was really to get people chatting and to find out information from them. What we heard through the in-person sessions was there is a great need for better promotion of existing activities, that there's a need, that there was some support for a dedicated space for seniors. We heard people ask for more programming in the North End, a need for digital literacy classes, and a need for pickleball facilities. Bon, so pour ce qui est de le sondage, on avait 460 répondants.
As for the survey now, we had over 400 respondents, and our webpage was consulted more than 2,700 times. More than half of respondents were aged between 65 and 74. So we needed better results on younger or older seniors. But it's nevertheless interesting that we got great representation for this age bracket because they're the ones who use senior programming the most. Because people under 50 do not consider themselves as seniors in most instances. So this needs to be explored further in the future.
It was about current activities, what people did now, and activities that they'd like to participate in. So this shows the top 10 most popular activities, and 4 of the 5 are physical or fitness activities. As you can see, walking was far and away number 1, and then number 2 and 3 were fitness and gardening, and then after that, arts and crafts and yoga rounding out the top 5. Several respondents added comments as well, noting that they're currently participating in activities offered at the YMCA's, the Legion, Danse Encore, and at the Crossman Community Center, K Arena. And we also asked people what activities they'd like to participate in, maybe that they aren't participating in now. And what we found is there's actually a pretty good match between what they said they're already doing and what they said they would like to do. So 8 of those top 10 are actually the same, which is a really positive thing because it indicates that the right mix of stuff is out there. Just maybe we need more of some of them. And there are 2 additions to this list that may offer some opportunities for new programming, dance and aqua fitness, because not very many people said they were participating in that right now, but a lot of people said that they would like to. Seulement 17% des répondants ont dit qu'ils cherchent.
Only 17% of respondents said that they were seeking activities that are specific for seniors. 1/3 choose activities by interest, and 12% both. So it's a good summary of what we've heard from several people who say that they don't need to meet with other seniors to participate in activities as long as those are adapted to their needs.
Le matin était le temps préféré pour les activités.
Most respondents indicated wanting to participate in their activities in the morning, 60%, 25% in the afternoon, and only 5% like activities in the evening. And most of them, 64% of respondents, said that they'd rather participate in activities during the week instead of during weekends. We've also heard that younger seniors are still active on the labor market. They said that they find it harder to participate in activities that are during office hours.
For transportation, most respondents were still using their own vehicles, 91%, which is huge. But we did also hear a lot of feedback from people who said between the survey and at the sessions that either they don't travel as much or they don't like to travel as far and they don't like to travel after dark. So that is a consideration for sure. And only 7% said that they were using public transit. So particularly, we're listening about students just now. The seniors apparently also are not using public transit. So that's something that we'd like to explore a little further. More than half said that they currently travel 15 minutes or less to get to activities, and they are willing to travel a little further, but it really does top out around that 15 to 20 minute mark, and probably I would say 15 minutes is the sweet spot. And keeping in mind, this is a group that has access to their own vehicles. On a aussi demandé aux répondants si
We also asked respondents if they preferred having all their activities at the same location or if they preferred having several locations. We had various opinions. 38% said that they'd like one location, 25% activities at several locations, and 37% had no preference. We had, on the one hand, people who wanted specifically dedicated spaces for seniors, and on the other hand, people who didn't want to be segregated. In relation to cost, most respondents, 85%, said they'd be open to paying for those activities, and they also said they had a preference to pay fees by activity instead as for annual memberships. And they indicated that it's important to keep cost as small as possible.
Over and again. So it wasn't necessarily that the activities didn't exist, it's that people couldn't find them. People also mentioned the need for French language and bilingual programming. We heard that there are wait lists for the more popular activities, and costs and location were also mentioned as barriers. And for staying informed, currently word of mouth is the most popular way respondents are getting information, with 2/3 of them getting their information this way. About 41% said they were using Facebook, 27% said they got information from the City of Moncton website, and the thing that was more concerning was that about a quarter said that they're not getting any information at all. And if you look at the second graph, when we asked them how they would like to receive information, 65% said that they would like to come to the City of Moncton website, and 54% said Facebook. A number also noted that they would like to receive information via email or mailouts. So that kind of sums up the engagement results altogether. Oh, and we posted a summary of those results on the letschatmoncton.ca and the jasonmoncton.ca websites. So everyone can kind of dive into those on their own time. And I'd like to turn over to Ellen now to talk about some of the things that we've done with this information so far.
Merci Aloma. Je m'appelle Ellen.
Thank you, Aloma. My name is Alan Jeffries, and I'm the Community Development Officer for Seniors and Youth with the Recreation Services at the City of Moncton.
To connect with organizations who are delivering incredible programming in our community. It also gave me the opportunity to meet with residents to learn more about the activities in which they would like to participate and the barriers that are preventing them from doing so. C'était une excellente façon de commencer.
It was an excellent way of starting my first few weeks in the service.
To inform the way we deliver and promote recreational programming for seniors in Moncton. So we heard loud and clear that we need to do a better job promoting existing programming available in the city. It's certainly easy to feel like there's nothing to do and nothing going on when there's not an easy place to go to find out and stay in the loop. So for that reason, we have expanded the webpage on the city's website, moncton.ca/seniors, to become a hub of recreational information for seniors in Moncton. So there you can find details about programming offered by the City of Moncton, its recreational partners, maps of parks and trails, information on festivals and events, public transit, and other resources. We have also worked to brand and improve the accessibility of our seniors newsletter. An overview of spring and summer programming will be sent out on May 20th. So those interested in receiving the newsletter can find a link to sign up at moncton.ca/seniors. And the newsletters will also be available there for download. Dans quelques semaines, nous lancerons.
In the next few weeks, we will launch a diversified marketing plan to promote activities and events that will be happening throughout the month of June during Seniors Month.
Radio and newspaper ads, printable calendar, and detailed guide available on our website and also sent out to partners, along with social media posts to help spread the word about the many events and activities taking place this month, during June, during Seniors Month. This engagement exercise also allowed me to make new connections in the community. Last month, I had the opportunity to present to the Young at Heart Club and to the CN Pensioners Association, both groups that I met during our in-person sessions, so that was great. This month, I look forward to presenting to the Tantramar Seniors College and to Nursing Homes Without Walls. So I am eager to continue acting as a connector between residents looking to access recreational programming and bringing them into the loop about all of the many things they can get involved with. So I'd also like to highlight some of the programming that we have developed and partnered to offer that has been directly informed by this public engagement exercise. So as I mentioned, June is Seniors Month, and we will be celebrating all month long. It has provided a wonderful opportunity to promote both our ongoing programming and to offer some of those activities and events that survey respondents said they were looking for. All of the activities promoted as part of Seniors Month will be free of charge or $3 or less. Certaines des activités prévues incluent des marches.
Some of the activities include guided walks for seniors each Monday morning during the month of June at 10 a.m. in several parks of the city. And there will also be an opportunity to discover an artistic march from the Medavie Stadium on June 6th at 9 a.m.
Every Thursday evening in June at 6 p.m. in Centennial Park. There will be open houses offered at the Centennial Lawn Bowling Club. That one will be June 7th from 12 to 4 p.m. And also an open house at the Tankville School on June 17th from 10 a.m. to noon. There will also be a free presentation by Resurgo Place on the social history of the Petitcodiac River that will be offered at the Lutz Mountain Heritage Museum June 27th at 10 a.m. That bilingual presentation will be followed by questions, coffee and tea, and some time for socializing. So this is just a sneak peek of some of what we have planned this June. There are many activities and events taking place. So again, I encourage everybody to check out moncton.ca/seniors. But we will continue to implement what we heard well beyond Seniors Month. Cet été, nous organiserons des cours de danse.
This summer, we will organize dancing and fitness activities free of charge for seniors in the Riverside Park. Those activities will be offered in partnership with Dans Son Corps and will be held on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. from July 8th to August 19th.
For older adults offered all summer long. Lane and senior swims will be available at Centennial Pool every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings for $3. And aqua fitness classes will be offered at the East End Pool every Tuesday for just $2. So I just wanted to take this time to say I'm incredibly grateful to the residents who took the time to participate in the study. We look forward to continuing to offer social events and arts and cultural opportunities, chances to stay fit and engaged. So I hope this will be just the first of many public engagements we have the opportunity to do to continue improving our service delivery to seniors in Moncton. Thank you. Merci.
Merci, Ellen. Question.
Thank you very much, Ellen. The question, Councillor Bourgeois. Thank you very much, Your Worship. Thank you, Elma and Ellen. I'd like to make a little comment first. I'm on the Seniors Committee, and we were fortunate enough to have somebody that Ellen hired as a community development coordinator. She is a true go-getter, and I think the results will follow pretty quick. So I imagine that all this exercise is designed to take the pulse of the seniors community will eventually result in a plan over the 3, 4, 5 years, or is it just to make sure that the activities that we have available right now meet the needs of seniors with some changes? So I think it is really meant as a first step of a project. So like I said, June, the Seniors Month, gives us an opportunity to make sure that those activities are in line with the expectations of seniors, and we might bring some changes afterwards. So I think there's going to be a few trials and errors over the coming year, but we're going to keep serving people and promoting public engagement to make sure that senior programming in the city of Moncton hits the mark. But are you intending to develop like a master plan or something? Not at this point, but maybe ultimately. So one of the items that did not come out of the survey, and that I often hear from seniors, is public safety. Whether it be at their residence, because there's break and enters, theft of property. They're afraid of walking in downtown at night. Did this come out of your survey? Well, it was not, we did not really inquire about it in the survey. The survey was more focused on recreational activities in the city of Moncton, but we gave them the opportunity to provide open general comments. And we've heard from several people that they would like to explore our trails more, but I don't feel comfortable doing so. I don't feel safe. I'd be more comfortable if I was in a group or something like that. So that's why we've decided to organize guided walks, like I said earlier, for people to discover our buildings, our trails, our parks. Excellent. I think that's a great idea, and I'm very happy to hear that. One question in relation to the survey. There's 2 tables that compare the different types of activities. And I see a major difference, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a gap analysis maybe between what they do and what they'd like to do. And there's activities like social activities, educational activities. I'm trying to remember what you presented on. Could we take a look at the table? Yeah, I'll try to get it for you. Yann, could we put that on the screen?
Je dirais que c'est peut-être numéro.
I think it's slide number, I can't remember the slide number.
C'est à peu près le milieu là,
I think it was about in the middle of your presentation.
2 bar graphs. Là. Ouais,
Alors,
avant.
ça
OK.
c'est les
It was a bar graph. There's 2 bar graphs. So that's the current activities and the desired activities. So currently when we see educational classes, senior social activities, those are among the least popular, right? We had a way more exhaustive list, so those presented on the slide are the most popular types of activities, but way more people indicated being interested in those activities. Yes, so my question is, if it focuses especially on those, around those 3 activities, seniors educational classes and speaker series, this is has very little attendance right now, but people would very much like to participate in those activities. Can you give me some explanations? How would you explain such a discrepancy between current activities and desired activities? Is that because there's nothing going on in the way of talks and stuff like that? No, I think that people were already involved in groups like the Rotary Club or those organizations already have the opportunity of attending presentations and talks. But there are other people who are not members of groups like that and have no opportunity or feel that they have no opportunity to attend those events. So as I said, we will do a presentation with Place Versogo. We'll also do activities, special activities with the Crossman Community Center. And we will extend our activities before and after activities to provide some social interaction opportunities. Yeah, so you will do quite a lot of projects with those organizations. Yes, we do collaborate with Nature Moncton and the Greater Mountain Walking Club and several other kinds of organizations. So we have various partners that we work with.
Seniors committee, we have a youth committee, we have a social inclusion committee. We have a lot of people from the city who give us feedback, and there's an intersection between some of these plans and activities. So I just assume, can you explain to the council how we are interlinked with these groups and make sure that we don't duplicate, but also we complement each other?
Well, luckily, my office is located next to Vince Marola, so we get to chat often about the types of things he's working on and I'm working on. So, for example, at the moment, I'm working on Intergenerational Day, which takes place on June 1st. So I went over to talk to Vince because I know the Social Inclusion Committee has interest in a working group on intergenerational initiatives. So trying to make sure that we're collaborating and not working against each other, and that we're taking in each other's goals into mind. So he's been a great asset for us on the Seniors Advisory Committee, for sure, and the Youth Advisory Committee.
Between staff, you collaborate, fine, but the information goes between the different committees as well.
As much as I can, yes, yeah.
Perfect. Merci beaucoup.
Very
Merci, Madame la Maire.
Merci, Conseiller Bourgeois.
Thank you very much for this. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Bourgeois. Councillor Kingston.
Conseiller Kingston.
Hit the red.
Councillor Kingston, you have the floor. Thank you, Your Worship.
The 500, the 2,700 on Let's Chat. I'm particularly interested in staying informed. On the pie chart, it looks like word of mouth and Facebook are almost dead even. And that's incredible because we know that seniors, we have seniors here in the room, maybe even on council, we have time and we're not necessarily Facebooking 24/7. We'll check it at the end of the day. And I know that's the challenge of your department, is to get everybody informed. Word of mouth is still very strong, and that's incredible to see in this day and age. The radio and newspaper obviously have their place there, but I think the days are gone where all local stations had the same information at the same time. That's lacking, and that's another bigger conversation regarding social media. But kudos to you and the department for engaging so many seniors. We have an active gang in the city of Moncton on the senior category, and they continue to show just how active they are and looking for more things to do. So again, it's a congratulations to you and your department. And I know the challenge of not knowing where or when is the big one, really, of people not having an idea where anything is. And we hear a lot of that in different segments of society. It doesn't have to be necessarily seniors. Could be a hockey game, what rink, what time. We get a lot of that. People aren't on the same page anymore collectively, and it's too bad. But we're getting there, and again, job well done and continued success with that. Thank you very much. Merci. Thank you, Madame Addis.
Merci, Conseiller Kingston. Conseiller Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Kingston. Councillor Butler.
Comment?
Yes.
Next comment. There we are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank for the presentation. I was lucky enough to be able to get to one of the groups when you're talking to the seniors, and I have to say is that one of the things that they really were quite happy with, that we've appointed somebody that just has their hands just on the pulse of the seniors and the youth, which is great. And anybody that's had any interaction with you so far, Ellen, nothing but praise. So congrats to you. I would like to say also too is to your department that, you know, we were going through a rough time trying to figure out what we were going to do and how we were going to resolve this issue with seniors. And your group, with Isabel and Monica and yourself, you have taken this to a new level that there's a lot of satisfaction now. You hear the feedback, which is good, instead of, well, what we were supposed to do and what we didn't do. But now it's really forming. I would hope that the only question I would have is, follow up to this is that I think that we should maybe have these meetings maybe once a year, every couple of years, so we keep pulse, so people don't think that we forgot about them. We pointed somebody, but we never hear back. And also maybe to get updates now and then to council in person, because I know you're doing a fantastic job. That's all I hear. That's all I hear. It's great. So it's so great. So I think a lot of feedback to us for the next little while, so we know that we're putting the money where we're supposed to, and also that the seniors are happy. And that's very important, because they were kind of feeling like they were, as much as we did, that word of mouth wasn't getting out to everybody. You know, when I spoke to them that one night that we had it up at the Lutz Mountain, they didn't know about what the Legion was doing or what Curl Moncton was doing. You know, so it was quite important, or even at the Crosman Center. So they were kind of like, at that group, they were all going to the North NY and they didn't know where the other parts were. So it's really important, and you're doing a heck of a job, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Worship.
Merci, conseiller Butler. Merci à vous deux, conseiller Léger.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Thank you to you both, Councillor Léger. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Aloma.
A good opportunity now and I congratulate you on putting that together. Some of the things that I do hear is not all the seniors are or have access to the internet. They may not feel comfortable with it. Is there any way that maybe once a year something like this could be printed in a printed form and made available? Some of them I noticed may not have a phone number. Maybe even if they had a referral phone number to your department, for example, something along that line that could be helpful in terms of just making sure that information is out there as much as possible?
It's definitely something we've discussed about putting something together that can be printed and available. In the interim, we will be sharing the documents that come out for Seniors Month with all of our partners, so they'll be able to print them and send them out to their members as well, drop some off at the library and at some of those key locations, the Crossman Community Center, et cetera. So we'll try to bridge that gap in the interim, but it's definitely something we would like to do, is have some kind of printed material.
Okay. A question that I have, I guess, in terms of the survey, familiar a little bit with surveys, but in terms of the validity, I know you have, I mean, it's impressive, there's over 500 seniors, but is it really representative in terms of the data that we're working with? And could you offer some comment on how you went about it and the types of questions that were asked? And I'm not doubting the information, but I just kind of wonder, when you have all of those conflicting messages.
So I like that question, because it is an opportunity to point out that a public engagement survey is not the same as a public opinion survey. So public opinion survey is one of those ones where they go, we're going to look at what the population is, and we're going to decide we need this many people from this group and that group, and they go out and they sort of will call on the phone or whatever until they actually fill in the things, fill in all the blanks of that group, and then they can say at the end, this information is correct 19 times out of 20 with a margin of error, et cetera, et cetera. Public engagement and survey is not the same because people are self-selecting to participate. So for example, where I said half the people that participated were actually in one age group. It wasn't even all the way around. So those are things that we keep in mind as we're looking through. So we look at these activities and we know that's what people were asking for, but really like half of the people that were asking for them were in this particular age group, and maybe we don't have as good an idea of the rest of it. The flip side of that is that the quality of the information that we do get is quite good, because the people that are giving us information really care about the topic. Whereas when you do a random survey, sometimes you're getting someone, they're trying to cook their supper and they don't really care, but they may not answer your questions anyway. These folks that are participating in the survey really, really care about what the answers are. And so you do need to keep into account that it is only a snapshot of who answered the survey and not necessarily of all seniors across the whole community. but there still gives us some really good insight into what people are thinking. So I think we probably could have talked to 20,000 people, and they probably all still would have told us, we can't find information. Like, that's something that's going to still be true of a greater number of people.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that it has to be ongoing, at least, once or twice a year, and you take those opportunities to get feedback. In terms of the locations that you cited, there were 7 locations, but did you not also do the Legion?
We consulted with the Legion directly, but we tried to have a mix of stops in each ward. So we didn't want to go to one ward too many times, I guess, or we wanted to have a reflection of around the city. So I think where we had one at City Hall and then the Cafe Kodiak, we felt that that area had kind of been, but we did reach out to the Legion directly and shared the survey with them as well.
I guess I wonder only because we know we have, I think, close to 500 seniors at the Legion. And the clientele, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the individuals, we have people in different age groups, we have different society groups, and I felt a little bit disappointed that you wouldn't have gone to the Legion, in particular because of the fact that they were the ones that stepped up the first when were going through this whole transition of what we were going to do. And so perhaps, and they may have re-emphasized again, and you might have had over 1,000 responses as opposed to the 500. So I guess I would challenge you to do that, because I think it's important. And the only reason I questioned it is because you went twice to, and I'm not being critical, but you went twice to a cafe where could have gone once to the Legion. And I think in fairness, just to have that representation. I do find it interesting, your point though, where certain demographic may be the one that is the most vocal. And that has really been the question in terms of that we've been deliberating as to what would and maybe it is an intergenerational center look like when you hear comments about, well, I don't need to be with a whole bunch of seniors and maybe it is that connotation of that senior, right? People don't feel senior. It's an age, but it doesn't go beyond that for all of us. So that would be sort of that comment. I would hope that this continues. I do like the website. The more information we can get out there, the criticism will always be that we don't necessarily know how to reach everybody anymore. And so there's not one way, but I appreciate the openness and certainly in terms of the ability to learn from, all of us need to learn from this. And one last piece, was there any thought of or comments related to youth and having young people involved with seniors and so on? Because we often hear about that you want to try to bring them together. Any of that come through?
Yeah, a little bit especially at the in-person engagements that, don't separate the ages. Helps me stay young when I'm around young people. So we did hear some of those comments, but I think what Aloma said is everybody's looking for a little something different. So it's really to us to make sure we're meeting people where they are and making sure we're offering things in many formats and many places. So.
And lastly, will the events that you talked about that are coming up, can that be printed too, or can that be easily accessible so that at a glance they just know what's happening and so on?
Yes, we'll have a printable calendar and it'll come with a detailed guide. So I have the one that hasn't been treated by the graphic designer yet, but that'll all be available at moncton.ca/seniors. And it'll, as I say, distributed to our partners, and it'll go out to our newsletter distribution list, which I think has well over 800 recipients now as well.
And I think the library will be a good asset as well, because people tend to go to the library to ask. So
yeah,
they can be
fabulous partner.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Merci.
Merci, Conseiller Légère. Isabelle.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. I just wanted to reiterate that we are certainly fully committed to continuing to talk to the community, continuing to talk to the seniors. This is the first step out of many. Ellen started her position at the end of November, and I think she's come a tremendous amount of way in a short period of time. And so through Aloma and the communications team, we are going to continue to improve, to put information out there. It's very fluid, and we're going to be able to pivot and hopefully meet the needs of the community.
Merci Isabelle. Conseiller Richard.
Merci, Mayor Stereo. Just to hop onto what Isabelle just said, couldn't tell that she just started in November, so good job. Merci Aloma puis Hélène. So there's just a few places. Most common barriers, finding out about activities, common challenges for recreation organizations. We've heard all this, but were there any suggestions brought back from the respondents on any suggestions how to fix some of these? Was there?
In some, I guess a little bit, like some people saying, you know, I think it's some of the suggestions are things that might be out there, but we haven't done a great job of sharing. So, you know, you should have this program. Well, that's actually available here, or things like that. So, you know, you should have a newsletter. Well, we do have a newsletter, but now we're going to make it a little bit easier to sign up, and we'll increase the frequency and the accessibility to make it easier for people to follow along. But some of the other ones were like group outings for guided, like going out walking together. So especially at the in-person sessions, that gave me an opportunity to, when people were giving kind of this feedback, I was able to say, oh, were you aware that there is the Greater Moncton Walking Club, or there's dedicated senior walking hours at the Crossman Community's indoor walking track every day, and different opportunities like that. So
That's super. There's one page of the survey or the results, better promoting existing programming, Moncton.ca seniors newsletter, improved marketing tools, and community outreach. Might be early in the game. The last two bullets, improved marketing tools, community outreach. Do you already have something in mind? Is there anything that you can share with us that's more than what we're doing today?
well, with the, for example, Seniors Month, we're going to use a number of different marketing strategies to promote that. So we won't just rely on Facebook or just rely on the website. We'll have newspaper ads, radio ads. We'll be doing email blasts. We'll be reaching out to partners, social media, of course. But we're really trying to use a little bit of all of the tools in the toolbox to kind of reach a little bit of everyone. So we will continue to do that. And I know that's a priority for the Seniors Advisory Committee as well, to make sure that our marketing tools are inclusive and that we're thinking of all seniors.
I'm extremely happy to hear that, because I mean, I don't have anything against Let's Chat. It's just that we have to go farther. That's all with it for people who are limited to access. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Conseiller Richard. Conseiller Crossman.
Thank you, Your Worship. Aloma, Ellen, and Monica, you've done an outstanding job since November on this. Councillor Bourgeois did mention that he sits on the Seniors Advisory Committee. So do I, and I'm really hoping that we can continue the great communication and back and forth that we've had on that, because I think that committee has really changed a lot since last fall. And the drive is to make sure that we're inclusive and that we listen to what seniors have to say. And I think that all three of you have done that tremendously over the last 4 or 5 months. And you know, you're there at those meetings, and you know that the seniors are always thankful and they're always suggesting new ways forward. And some of the ways we've never even thought of, you know, that are coming from seniors in that committee. So it's very impressive to see. A couple of things that weren't mentioned, and I'll just quickly touch on them. You can confirm them or not. I do believe some members from the Seniors Committee are going to help out with Youth Fest as well. That's coming this week. And
yes, Wednesday.
That's Wednesday. Yeah. Thank you for that. And the same thing when we have Seniors Day here, the youth come out and actually help them here in the City Hall. That's correct too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hope
perfect.
to do more of that too.
Yeah, we're going to do more of that. And I think there's one thing that we did get away from, and I brought this up a few times at the Seniors Committee. It's the senior-friendly city, right? And I think that's one thing that that committee is going to start to look at more and more. And can you explain that just a little bit, the way forward that we're going to be doing this? Because it's very important that the businesses are involved, the community's involved, and there's certain recognitions too that that come with that?
So if I understand correctly, the city was designated as a senior-friendly community by the province, and I believe it was either 2016 or 2017.
17.
So we are due to resubmit our application to continue that, I guess, but it hasn't been taken away yet. But so we'll be submitting that again. And another senior-friendly business initiative, or another senior-friendly initiative that the committee started was the Senior-Friendly Business Program. So that's something that we're looking to update and relaunch with the help of the committee. So the Seniors Advisory Committee will actually come and make a presentation to council on June 2nd. So they'll talk a little bit about some of the priorities for their committee as well, but those are certainly high on their radar.
Well, and again, I just want to say thank you because I know that this has been a very difficult file. You know, that's been ongoing for a while, and I'm glad to see that we're transitioning the right way. And we now have you as a staff member on seniors and youth. And I think, you know, when I was first elected back in 2012, I remember walking into the Crosman Center and seeing the youth and the seniors, you know, shuffleboarding and walking and basketball and things along that line. And I think COVID has gotten us away from a lot of this partnership that we can do together. And I think that we can start to look at that again. And I really think it's going to be a great summer from the committee's point of view. It seems like it's going to be a very active summer for the committee because I know they want to be at a lot of the events that are going on throughout the city. And that's the beauty part. We're back to inclusion, right? So, and again, hats off to all three of you that are done an outstanding job on this. And I really hope that, you know, we can continue this. To Councillor Butler's point, you know what, the Seniors Advisory Committee hasn't come to council recently, so we're going to bring that forward and make sure that, you know, we're more forward and more open with what's going on that committee. So again, thank you all, and thank you, Madame Mayor. I appreciate it.
Merci, Conseiller Crossman. Merci à vous. J'ai une petite question.
And thank you to all of you. But I have a question. Now, in terms of the conferences and presentations, there are so many conferences. I'm just thinking of the Fry Festival, for example. How can we reach the seniors? And so there are some authors are seniors and some youth are interested as well. So are there links there? Are there connections? Yes, we added a link on the event and festival calendar on everything that's going to be held in the city throughout the year. So we hope that people will be able to discover what's going on here in town. We're also going to print out a brochure. And I think that for the events in June during the Seniors Month, we're going to highlight some of the events and festivals that are going to be held, because a number of people told us that I only hear about an event after it's come and gone. So I'd like to know in advance. I'd like to know before an event is held. So we're going to try and improve that as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk. Yes, and the next item on the agenda is the presentation of the Heritage Board Annual Report. Jean-Pierre Charon and Linda Maillet are here to present. Your worship, councillors.
And before you, as the newly elected chair of the City of Moncton Heritage Board Committee, I want to begin to recognize the dedicated efforts of the board members for the past year. The commitment and passion have ensured that Moncton's rich heritage continues to be acknowledged, preserved, and celebrated. These people are just super, as you would know on it. Our city's heritage history is not only a source of pride, it is the foundation that helps shape our future. From conserving historic sites to promoting awareness of our cultural legacy, the board has worked tirelessly to keep heritage at the heart of the community's identity. As chair, I look forward to building on a strong foundation. Together, we will continue to advocate for thoughtful preservation, support community engagement, and ensure that Moncton's unique story, excuse me, is shared and with the future generations. Merci de votre confiance et le support que vous.
Thank you for your trust and your support at the Heritage Conservation. And I'm going to give the floor to Jean-Pierre Charron, who is going to present our annual report. Thank you.
Bonjour à tous.
Good evening, Your Worship, members of council, Mr. CAO, Serge Doucet, good evening. I'm going to go through the annual report very quickly. Of course, the Heritage Conservation Board has been busy once again with all of the applications for decision, and that's part of the report that I will be presenting.
Voici. Donc, les membres du comité.
The members of the committee, well, we have a chair, of course, Mr. Blaine Hogue. Paulette Thériault was on the committee, and she now holds a different role, but Linda Maillet, has become the chair of the committee, Bradley Condon, Daniel Saint-Louis, Joseph Tippett, Joe Tippett, Françoise Grandmaison, Brian Branch, and Shane Fall. It's important.
Numerous staff also that involved around the board. Bill Budd, our director that passed away this February, was with us, and he was really always supporting the Heritage Conservation file. It was great working with him. Unfortunately, he's not here anymore, but and last year we had also Andrew Smith that also left our department. So we're left with a bit of gaps there, but Lauren Campbell with Resurgo Place is instrumental. He knows he's a very knowledgeable person and very capable in all kinds of domain. Sophie Cormier, who is here tonight with us, is the Director of Culture and Heritage. Luc Babineau, Economic Development. Maeve Murphy with Communication Department. Sophie Toussaint, Building Inspection. And also Melissa Trisdel with Downtown Moncton Inc. So during the year, we delivered the 28 municipal heritage permits. They were obviously for different type of preservation and restoration matters, like painting, re-roofing, and sign installation, for example. It's all controlled under the Heritage Conservation Bylaw. And also we have all these development obviously meet the requirements of the bylaw and also the standards and guidelines for the historic for the conservation of historic places in Canada. During the year, the board managed to approve 11 heritage grant applications. We have images here that shows just give samples of images of the properties in question. So 140 Church Street, for example, there's preservation work that was done. There's also the amount that they receive as a grant to help them out. 132 Mill Road, 86 Botsford Street, 89 Church Street, 56 Stedman Street, and that's the synagogue. 5961 Church Street, some preservation work on that building. 679 Main Street, Higgins Block, also did their phase number 2 of repointing and fixing the masonry stones. And 51 Church Street received $10,000 as a grant. Also, 177, 179 St. George Street was completely repainted, and it makes quite a difference. It was well overdue, and that's great to see this preservation work, and also some restoration. When we talk about restoration, it's for example, wood, replacement of rotten wood, for example, would be restoring the wood, for example. 18 Botsford Street, they did some preservation work to the building exterior, including the 2 wood doors fronting Botsford Street. And then finally, 43 Botsford Street. They worked also on the rose window fronting Botsford Street, which in heritage preservation was well overdue. I saw some images of before the work, and when the weather and water gets into the wood, it really, we need to take care of that. So that was done with the help of grants. Another component of the Heritage Board's function is to celebrate, promote, educate, and provide engagement opportunities about heritage resources. And the biggest instrument that we have since 5 years now is Heritage Week. It occurs in the fall of the year, and this past year was the 5th edition of Heritage Week, which during the week of October 6th. The program helped promote, educate, and promote engagement opportunities. And here it's il faut souligner que sans la participation de
And without the participation of a number of people from the different departments, such as Resurgo Place and the Communications Department, as well as Economic Development, all of this support and participation for the different departments have made it possible to offer this week. And last year, we received a great deal of support from downtown Moncton Centre-Ville as well. And it was just essential support, especially when it was awarding the prizes for the heritage. On October 8th,
culture and heritage.
Heritage.
Resurgo Place, for example. And we saw 6 destinations were contemplated and provided interesting venues for the public to enjoy. So we have an example of 83 Victoria Street, 115 Queen Street, the Bricks Building, for example, and also the Flatiron Building, the Transcript Building, and also the Dominion Federal Building at the corner of Highfield and Main Street. So Heritage Week is also an opportunity to give some awards. And it was the 4th edition of award ceremony that was held on October the 9th. There were 4 preservation categories: preservation, restoration, rehabilitation, adaptive reuse, special recognition stewardship, and also the special recognition heritage trails tradespeople. Altogether, 5 awards were given. And I'll just go quickly here just to give an appreciation of the award ceremony that was held at the Centre Culturel Aberdeen. The master of ceremony was Kevin Siliker. It's here with us tonight, and it was fantastic to. He's a man of great talent, and it was really special. And the Mayoress Arnold was there also, and I think everybody had a great time. This space is wonderful. Centre Culturel Aberdeen is just perfect for this type of activity and event. So it was really great to see. Just quickly, I'll just go and mention what the award recipients. Preservation and Restoration Award, l'Église catholique romaine Saint-Bernard's Roman Catholic Church received this award, and we can see here David Watts and Lou Cummings, chairman of the St. Bernard Building Committee, and we have an image, for example, of active preservation work on the rose window facing Botsford Street. In the Preservation Restoration Award, we have here Anne Veriker that with her award in hand for the Oak House at 86 Botsford Street. And prix de la réfection et de la réutilisation adaptative du
the DMCI Rehabilitation Adaptive Reuse Award was issued to Neke Spy Salon, Sharon Kelly, for the wonderful preservation work that was done to the building that we used to call the Bonaccord Hotel building, or the William S. Torrey House. And it's at 48 Bonaccord Street. Most people have probably seen the work that was done on the building.
Special recognition award, Heritage People, went to Rice Contracting Limited. John Rice, Senior Advisor, is seen here with this award. This Rice Contracting Limited is quite remarkable in terms of talent that they have to in regards to heritage conservation. They go beyond the technical know-how, but they have suggestions, and they worked with Lauren Campbell that gave me some detailed information about work for 2 examples of work they did for the city: the Free Meeting House and the Trades House in the city. So it's really important to underline the importance of trades in the city. Most of the time, heritage buildings need some special skills, and this is really very important to underline that through an award and make that known. We have to keep our eyes open on the trades for the future. And also, finally, the Centre Culturel Aberdeen themselves were honored with, ont été remis le prix de reconnaissance spéciale.
They received the Special Recognition Award for stewardship. By stewardship, we mean looking after the building for 10 years or more. If I could make a list of all of the work that they've done on the building since it became the cultural center, it would be a very long list, a very impressive one. And they're very aware of when they do outdoor changes to the deck, for example, on Bodford, and they rebuilt the stairs on Botsford's side, would completely meet the objectives and the standards and guidelines for Canadian heritage conservation. Here you see Jean Surette and his award. And lastly, it was the presentation of heritage plaques. 3 owners received plaques, and plaques were installed at 31 Church Street, 52 Donald Street, and 56 Stedman in Moncton.
Another thing that was done it's linked to the functions and actions based on the Heritage Board strategic plan is an update of ITOR. And this was really accomplished by Resurgo Place. Lauren Campbell and Sophie Offray worked on this to improve it. They improved it, the capabilities of new technology, new phones, and added a few properties to the tour. So this is always something interesting, especially most often with tourists that come to town and they want to know a little bit more about the downtown heritage buildings. So that was done during the year. Now, Heritage Doors Open is also a very popular activity during the year. It's been in place for many years now, and it's quite popular. It's people assist those, attend those areas. And in this past year, we saw people visiting 86 Botsford Street, the Oak House building. So we can see on the images the outside and the inside of the buildings. And also, again, as another innovative way to promote heritage, a selection of art students from the Mackenzie College Visual and Applied Art program visited all 3 Doors Open sites and displayed various types of artwork inspired by the place. And there were accounts of people, you see on the right side, it's not meant to be seen really. It's just a representation of a panel showing all the students' work. But among those work, people were asked to what's your preferred one? And the one that we see, the image there is just a representation of the we call the winner. I guess in heart, there's no winner per se, but it was the preferred drawing or preferred piece. So the same thing for the former Ancien Notre-Dame d'Acadie at 343 Université Avenue. This is a federally designated building, and we know it's being renovated to accommodate a new function soon. So it was an opportunity to have the public to get inside the building and see what it looked like. And it was fabulous. We can see on the image number 2 the interior of the old this old heritage building, and and again a piece of art inspired by the place by an artist. So that Higgins Block was also a destination at 679 Main Street, and again we have an art representation of a piece of hanging piece of metal, I guess. I'm not sure what it is, but it was great to have the students also involved in this. So just quickly, just a touch on the ongoing 5-year strategic plan of the Heritage Board. In last year, we did accomplish a number of things. We did review and update the board's communication plan with the support of the communication department. This is in a full annual report. It's displayed there. It's more of a document to refer to and guide us and to take decision in terms of communication. The iTour, like I mentioned, was updated. The new interactive designated heritage property map I've also put in place. It's online currently. What's the benefit with this interactive map is that it gives a bit more information in terms of it goes a little beyond the static heritage map that's in the heritage bylaw, the heritage conservation bylaw. So this one has images and a brief description and location on the map. So it's kind of convenient for people to check that out. Another thing that was done last year was a fairly good update of all the statement of significances that are tagged to every designated heritage properties. So again, images were added and some of the description of, for example, the character defining elements were looked at again. As time passed, sometimes some elements of buildings might change with time. So that was looked at and corrected when needed, and so updated. So that's a it's not something that's usually accessible to the public. It's more of a technical document but we do share this document to the property owner, obviously, because when they want to do some work, the objective is to keep the character defining elements of the building. Okay, so. And we saw also some more media coverages. We saw some articles in L'Acadie Nouvelle about heritage conservation in a general way. So it seems that it's interesting to see the medias being more and more, tapping into the subject. Il est important de garder l'information.
It's very important to keep that information open and to share it with the city. I think there's a lot of residents in the city of Moncton that have a lot of questions concerning our built heritage. And we are working very hard to let them know about what we're doing to protect that heritage and what we are intending to do in the future. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre. Are there any questions? I don't see any questions. So thank you very much for your great work. Thank you, Linda. Thank you to the committee. I think you're doing tremendous work. Really, thank you so much. Thank you.
The next item is planning matters et questions d'urbanisme, and the first up today is a public hearing zoning bylaw amendment to McLaughlin Drive, and there were objections received. And I see Sarah Anderson is here to provide us an update.
Good afternoon, everyone. So this is a rezoning application, a public hearing for 2 McLaughlin Drive. So it's an application to amend the permitted uses in the NC zone, which is neighborhood convenience, and it's located at 2 McLaughlin Drive. And that is in order to permit residential units on the main floor. So the subject property is located in the Sunnybray area and it's in Ward 1. So the property is located on the west side of the intersection of McLaughlin Drive and Elmwood Drive. This part of Sunnybray has a very good mix of commercial and some medium density residential uses. In terms of the surrounding uses, it's mainly zoned NC, this neighborhood convenience, but there's also some R2U, which is urban dwelling zone, some R2, 2-unit dwelling zone, and MU, which is the mixed use zone. So here's a rendering of the proposed development. So the building is proposed to be 3 stories in height. It's proposed to have 10 residential units, including the 2 on the main floor. An office is also proposed to be located on the main floor with the main entrance facing the street and a walkway that connects the public sidewalk to that entrance. The siding is proposed to be fiber cement, wood, and red brick, all considered acceptable or traditional materials. So here is the site plan. You see here the driveway access coming in across the property to the south over a registered right-of-way. The parking lot has 13 stalls as well as a biking rack, which meets the requirements of the zoning bylaw. Fence is proposed around the perimeter of the site, and that's to screen the property and the parking area from the abutting residential uses. Trees and shrubs are also proposed around the site, including street trees along McLaughlin Drive. And you can also see the configuration of the building footprint, and you see that commercial component or that office component that kind of juts forward and is a bit closer to the sidewalk. It's kind of making it a little bit more prominent than the residential uses, which are kind of pushed back a little bit. We did receive 1 letter of objection. The responses to that objection were circulated, were sent back to the objector, and they were circulated to all members of City Council. The main points of the objection related to, there were 4 of them. One was the use of the right-of-way, the second being the integrity of the NC zone, the third being the site design that reduced the visibility and creating safety hazards for those using the right-of-way, and the fourth was impacts on the aesthetics of the heritage property next door. So I'll go over those sort of briefly in an overview. So the first being the objection to the use of the right-of-way, being legal and operational concerns regarding that right-of-way. So there is a registered right-of-way across the property at 3 Cross Street. This agreement was signed with the applicant and the objector in 2017. It imposes no limitations on the use of the right-of-way, and it's not intended to be used as a parking area. So there is sufficient parking in the parking lot, so there should be no impacts to the 2 abutting properties to that right-of-way. Since receiving the objection, the applicant has met several times with the objector to work out the logistics around the use and the maintenance of that right-of-way. They are currently working through their lawyers on a formal agreement for the maintenance of that right-of-way, so that that issue has been resolved. The next objection being the concern over the integrity of the NC zone, that it would set a precedent by altering the purpose of the NC zone. So the purpose of the NC zone is to meet the needs of the local residents by ensuring the proposed developments integrate well with the neighborhood, as well as minimize conflicts with surrounding uses. The intent is to have a neighborhood convenience located in a neighborhood. The fact that residential uses aren't currently permitted on the ground floor does mean that barrier-free units aren't allowed on the main floor. And that's the intent and the purpose of this application, is to make sure that barrier-free residents can live in this development, which ultimately does meet the needs of the local community. The third objection was that the site design reduces the visibility and creates safety hazards for those using the right-of-way. So, the proposed development is infilling a very difficult lot with safety risks associated with providing a new driveway onto McLaughlin Drive. The use of this right-of-way is the only way that this lot will develop. The proposed development provides for only 10 residential units and an office. This part of the city is desirable for its amenities and its walkability, and this is an ideal location for an infill development such as this one. The last objection was to the impacts of the aesthetics of the heritage property next door. And the response to that is the applicants have hired a designer who will, if the application is approved, enhance the exterior design of the proposed building by addressing some of the historical elements of the character of the neighborhood in the final design. So just to continue on, these are some elevation drawings. This just gives a view of the other sides of the building. So in terms of a recommendation, it is recommended that Moncton City Council approve zoning bylaw amendment Z 222.45 and Schedule A45 for the property located at 2 McLaughlin Drive, subject to a resolution with a number of conditions which are included in the report, and I'm happy to go through those if anyone is interested. And that is.
Merci, Sarah. So
Thank you very much, Sarah.
follow. So I believe the next person or the next up would be the applicants or the developers if they want to speak and to tell us why you want this project to move forward. You don't have to, but you can if you wish.
Any further comments at the moment?
Could you come to the mic, please?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Eric. I'm the applicant in this case. I don't think I have anything further to add at the moment. I think Sarah went through fairly detailed of the process, but if anyone has any questions or concerns, I would be here to hopefully assist or try to answer those questions.
Thank you. So do we have other proponents who support the project who would like to speak? We don't. So now we move to objection. Ceux qui s'opposent au projet.
Those who are opposing the project are objectors.
No? Ça va trop vite ce soir, Sarah. I'm not used to this.
It's going too fast tonight. I'm not used to that.
To the members of council for questions. So I will open it to, I believe, Councillor Crossman.
Thank you, Your Worship. Sarah, thanks for the presentation. Truly appreciate it. Whereas it's a public hearing, my only question that I had the evening that this came forward before it went to the public hearing was the fact on that right away. And it seems to be in the CRF. I've read it all twice and I completely understand it, but I just want to make sure, even tonight when you said it at the mic, this is a contract that is currently being negotiated for full access to use that right away so that this development is accessible for the builder and the residents that will be in it. Is that correct?
The right-of-way already exists.
Yes.
It was registered in 2017.
17.
So the use of the right-of-way is established, it is registered, so it's good. What the owner is working on now is just maintenance. So who's going to clear it of snow, who's going to maintain it? That's what's being dealt with right now.
And our local fire department has no issue with the width of that right away, everything along that to access. I know the area well enough that if something does happen, they can come off of Elmwood, but long story short, I'd rather see them use the right of way. So I'm just curious to know that that was approved by them as well.
Yeah, it is 7 meters wide, so that's certainly wide enough. I think the smallest they can go is 3 or 5 even, so 7 is good.
Okay, because that land is challenged. I know that we have had traffic studies done in the past where we need to decide on that island eventually and what's going to happen there and things along that line to improve traffic flow. So I'm glad to see that you found another way out. Those are my only questions for now, so I'll see how council goes, but I'd probably move the recommendation when it comes around. So thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Councillor Crossman. Any other questions from council? If not, I will declare the public hearing closed. We have a motion, so could I have, someone else wants to speak?
Councillor Crossman said he would move it.
Do you wish to move the recommendation? Okay, moved by Councillor Crossman, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. So do we do electronic? Any questions on the motion? There are no questions, so do we go with show of hands? No, electronic. Okay, c'est beau. So it is unanimous in favor. Merci. Thank you, everyone.
We had postponed item 7.2, public hearing zoning bylaw amendments 1430, 1450 Elmwood Drive. That will come back to the next public meeting of May 20th. Next would be statements of council, les exposés des membres du conseil.
Est-ce qu'il y a des exposés des membres du conseil?
Are there any statements by members of council? Seeing none, thank you, Madam Clerk. I think Councillor Leger was raising his hand. No, thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. But I'd just like to make a note for the future, something that our municipality and maybe that the province of New Brunswick could do, and maybe that the commission could do. If we look around, there's a lot of garbage around our railroads in our community. And I think it's an increasing phenomenon.
Earlier this year, but there seems to be an enormous amount of garbage between Wheeler Boulevard, Home Depot, Trinity, Elmwood area, and so on. And I'm wondering if we, as a municipality, could perhaps have a strategy in the new year, maybe in 2026, where all of us together with the province and with the Regional Service Commission maybe find a way to create a collection of this litter. Relying on volunteers, I don't think is going to bring us the results we want anymore. There's so much of it. And even just looking at, the risks associated with stepping off and going into on the side of Wheeler Boulevard, or even, in our regular areas around the city. So I want to just put that out there, perhaps through the city manager, and maybe there could be some type of initiative. Because I know as the season progresses and the grass grows, we're going to be in a situation where we won't see it anymore. And the only time we'll see it is when most of the highways are mowed in the summer, and they'll just mow all that trash. And it really is something that is very noticeable. And I think that the time has come to try to figure out some strategies. So I think, collectively we need to work together. But I have found this year particularly sad to see so much litter. And we don't see the numbers of volunteers like we did before. So I just want to put that out there. And for all of those people who have volunteered already and picked up trash, I think that's great. I do that myself, and hopefully others can chip in. I don't think we'll get all of it picked up this year, but at least let's begin to think about the years in the future. So merci, thank you.
Conseiller Léger, Serge.
Merci, Conseiller Léger.
Councillor Leger, Council. Yeah.
Looking into the matter.
Merci. Madame la greffière.
Next, our
Madam Clerk.
Council rapport et recommandation des comités réunion à huis clos. And this evening, there is one recommendation coming out of the Committee of the Whole of April 28th. Moncton City Council at its Committee of the Whole meeting of April 28th, 2025 is recommending the following: that Moncton City Council approve the updated Urban Work Area Traffic Control Manual supplement.
Merci, Madame la greffière. Conseiller Richard, do you wish to move? Conseiller Kingston seconded. Other questions on this? Il n'y en a pas, so we will go to the vote. Oh, excusez-moi. Au conseiller Bourgeois.
Councillor Bourgeois. Thank you, Your Worship. I have a question for Renee. During our discussions at the Committee of the Whole session, I had a question.
And the second half of the paragraph says, WorkSafe New Brunswick has recommended that the Canada Standards Association standard CSA-Z96-09 for high visibility safety apparel be adopted for New Brunswick. This standard provides more detail on acceptable safety apparel for workers than the OHSA, the Occupational Health and Safety Act regulations, and is recommended by the Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety. And then it adds, the municipality can prescribe the CSA standard for construction zone personnel in their jurisdiction if worker visibility is a concern. And my question is, should we prescribe it here?
You push the button. Justin.
Testing.
There
It
you go.
works. Thank you for the question. To be honest with you, without having kind of like the document and that level of details in front of me, and not having my colleagues here who worked on the document, I would not be in a position to give you an honest answer. I would suggest that if this is something that can be responded after the fact via email, we can certainly do that. If that is justification enough to postpone the item, I would have no choice but to do so.
It's there, but it says sort of that we can if we wanted to. But we're taking the existing manual, and we as a city are adapting it because we have special needs, urban area and all that stuff.
Correct.
You are asking us to adopt it. So I have no problem in adopting it, but could you look into whether or not we should modify it maybe a month or so into the season, that this should be the standard that we respect, because we're sort of in limbo waiting for a provincial standard. So why not use the national standard instead?
Yeah, we can definitely bring this back to the team and confirm to you and to council as well on that particular wording of that particular clause. Yes.
Parfait. Merci, Madame la Maire.
Merci, Conseiller Bourgeois. No other question. So.
Thank you, Councillor Bourgeois.
So in favor.
Councillor Butler is absent for the vote.
So it's unanimous then. Merci, Madame la Greffière.
Next is report from administration. Three this evening. The first one is city contract number W25D04BC, street resurfacing number 2. The motion before council is that city contract number W25D04BC, street reconstruction number 2 be awarded to McDonald Paving and Construction in the amount of $3,350,077.65, including HST, and that the budget for the project be set at $3,250,000, including net HST, engineering and contingency. It is also recommended that a contract be drafted and the mayor and the city clerk be authorized to sign said contract and affix the corporate seal of the city of Moncton thereto.
Merci, Madame la Greffière. Could I have a mover?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councillor Légère, Councillor Steve.
There are no questions, then we will go to the vote. So it is unanimous in favor.
And
Merci.
again, Councillor Butler is not present for the vote. Number 2 is city contract W25C01AB, street reconstruction number 1. The motion before council this evening is that city contract number W25C01AB, street reconstruction number 1 be awarded to Fulam Construction Limited in the amount of $5,800,945, including HST, and that the budget for the project be set at $5,700,000, including net HST and engineering contingency. It is also recommended that the contract be drafted and that the mayor and the city clerk be authorized to sign said contract and affix the corporate seal of the city of Moncton.
Merci, Madame la greffière. Conseiller Richard, you wish?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, Councillor Richard.
Or Conseiller Bourgeois, do you wish to second this? Okay, Conseiller Bourgeois. So do we have questions, so donc, Conseiller Crossman.
Thank you, Your Worship. Appreciate it. Renee, thank you for the presentation, and the work in this area is close to the East End Pool. So I just want to make sure that as I looked at the CRF, it said it starts in June, running till November-ish. Want to make sure that we're still going to have access to and from the pool for the youth and the seniors that need to access the area.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Councilor Crossman. It's definitely a tight space to work in, and we're basically affecting all the streets. However, there will not be affected at the same time. Usually when we start with a storm sewer relief system, we start at the downstream end and work our way up. So in this case, we work close to the storm sewer basin that was installed 2 years ago. We will have access through Fergus Street, and when Fergus Street is blocked, have access through Spur Street. So again, the idea is to make sure there is ways around accessing the parking lot in the area, either through Fergus or Spur, which is what we ended up doing when we built the basin I mentioned.
Good, good. And thank you for that basin, because I know that engineering is behind it. Elaine, I know you worked on it as well as Mayor Theriault and myself for the ward representatives, and it has done tremendous work for the area, and it looks great. So, in the trail system that's there as well. So
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Crossman. Conseiller Bourgeois.
Merci, Madame la Maire.
Councillor Bourgeois, thank you, Your Worship. Question. I don't know if it's for Jacques or René to answer, and not specifically for this one, but I noticed that there's a huge difference to our advantage between the engineering estimate and the actual cost. It's almost a 10% difference, 10% less than we estimated 3 or 4 years ago. Usually before that, it was 10% above our estimates. So we ended up having to cut corners to find savings. But in relation to the 10 past estimates, in relation to infrastructure projects, are things back to normal? If you let me answer your question from the engineering perspective, what happens is that every year, after an estimate is done, we readjust our prices for the following year. When we do engineering estimates, whether it's us or consultants, everybody in the industry does so to make sure that next year we can plan work accordingly and to make sure that we have enough money in the budget. So we see that increase, and in that case, it shows that the engineer has set aside more of a contingency fund, erred on the safe side, if you wish. But as for price increases, you have to compare with previous prices over the previous years. And over the past 5 years, prices have almost doubled for asphalt, concrete, piping, everything that's involved in renovating streets. So it's not necessarily that positive if you do the comparison with the past 5 years. In terms of stability, comparing with last year, up to now, we haven't seen such a large increase from 2024 to 2025, not in the same range as the ones before. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Bourgeois.
So the vote is unanimous in favor. Merci.
Next is a 10.3 procedural bylaw, mayor, deputy mayor, It was a motion brought forth to the floor last meeting by Councillor Bourgeois, and I believe that our city solicitor is going to speak to administration's reply.
Thank you, City Clerk. So we have the council report form here that was prepared by administration in response to Councillor Bourgeois' notice of motion. As with our regular practice, the recommendation in the CRF is the motion put forward by Councillor Bourgeois. However, if you go through the CRF, you'll see that that's not administration's recommendation. Our recommendation, I guess, essentially would be the first alternative, which would be to maintain the status quo. So in the CRF, we've kind of reviewed the elements of Councillor Bourgeois' motion, and in our view, and we did confirm this with the Department of Environment and Local Government. Our current procedural bylaw does not require any amendments to deal with the situation that we recently found ourselves in when the previous mayor resigned her seat. The Local Governance Act provides that, well, it provides what happens when the mayor's seat is vacant, that the deputy mayor steps in to that role. It doesn't prescribe certain time limits for that. So even though we are faced with an extended period of a vacancy because her resignation occurred just after the deadline for a by-election, so the seat is technically vacant until the next general election, which will be May 2026. That's a bit of a unique situation for Moncton. It's not unheard of that a mayor's seat could be vacant for that extended period, and the Local Governance Act doesn't differentiate. It doesn't provide different processes. It just says when the mayor's seat is vacant, this is what happens. So in our view, breaking down the different parts of that motion, most of them are either already dealt with in our bylaws. For example, dealing with the salary of the deputy mayor when acting in place of the mayor, or certain parts of it are problematic. For example, having council elect a mayor. The act prescribes that council can elect a deputy mayor, but council does not have the authority to elect a mayor. That doesn't limit how you want to refer to the mayor or acting mayor or deputy mayor in a meeting. It just means that we can't officially have council elect a mayor, and we couldn't amend our bylaw in that way. So I think that's all I really wanted to say. Councillor Bourgeois can speak to his motion, or I'm happy to take any questions anyone may have.
Merci, Nick. I have Councillor Bourgeois. Did you want to speak on this now? I do have Conseiller Léger who wants to ask a question. So we'll go to Conseiller Bourgeois.
Merci, Madame la Maire. Merci, Conseiller.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Councillor Léger. Thank you, Nick.
Butler and I sat down and tried to figure out what happens now. It wasn't clear to us what is going to happen. So we tried to come up with solutions, not our greatest, I'll take the blame for it, not the greatest wording or wordsmithing of this motion. The reaction you gave us, beautiful. I appreciate it. Bang on most of these things. I would say even 50–60% would be sort of withdrawn from consideration. But I'm not sure I agree with you 100% on some of these things, and I'll just give one example about the salary. I know that previous Mayor Arnold was making, my guess is about $95,000, I'm not sure, per year. And when we had our first discussion on this after my motion, you said, well, our CFO has figured out a way to pay her on a per daily basis if she does perform. It's not, first of all, for staff to decide how to pay the mayor. it's a council decision, so no offense to, you could have come up to the exact same thing, but it wasn't clear that Councillor Thériault, once she wears the hat of mayor for the next year and a half, should be paid whatever it is the mayor, but there's nothing, there's no guideline, there's no specification on it. So in 20 years from now, I'm not gonna be here, you're not gonna be here, Jacques is not gonna be here, maybe, but probably not, none of us are gonna be here. So if ever this very rare 1 in 100 year event happens again, they'll have to start from scratch and calling Fredericton to see, well, is this what we're supposed to do? And so it's not clear. There's still about half a dozen little things, minor things, to make sure that it's on paper so that we know. And the only regret that I have, and it's not a regret, but I'll say it with all due respect to Councillor Thériault, who I just adore, and I have no concerns about being mayor. But if I had known a year ago in May that whoever I was voting for as deputy mayor would, according to the legislation, become mayor if ever Mayor Arnold at the time was not going to be resigning within the time frame to enable a by-election, I'm not sure how I would have voted. So we have to do things, we have to formalize things, we might have to change, maybe not, but it has to be clearer than what it was this time. And again, it's a 1 in 100 year event. So in essence, what I'm proposing is that I will withdraw the motion and then we'll tackle at a committee of the whole meeting, maybe, what policies, what modifications, and it may be just a letter to the province saying, you guys and girls clarify this because it's not really clear to us, or we disagree with the way that you propose that we do, and we would like the legislation or regulations changed to do this instead of that. So I will withdraw it if Councillor Butler agrees to withdraw it as well, but on condition that we tackle it at a future committee of the whole. Last point is we had to rush it because we wanted this in place for the election of the deputy mayor in 2 weeks' time. So this is why it's on the agenda and it was rushed and everything else. But now that it's too late to do that, we'll do it the old-fashioned way, whatever the department says we have to do, we'll do it. But maybe over the next year or so, tackle the issues in order to prevent this scenario, the lack of clarification on some commas next time around. Merci, Madame le Maire.
Merci, Conseiller Bourgeois. Conseiller Léger.
Oh, merci. So on that note, then, are we suggesting that we go to the alternative that, and the council continue to apply the existing bylaw provisions regarding the election of deputy mayor in accordance with the Local Governments Act in the circumstances where the office of the mayor becomes vacant after the deadline for a by-election?
So you're
So
moving that motion, Conseiller Léger, seconded by Conseiller Kingston. Are we okay? Yeah? So any other questions? Oh, Conseiller Bourgeois.
Sure, as long as, I said the condition was that we would tackle it at a committee of the whole meeting. There are some of these elements that I don't agree with, so I have no problem not having a long debate about it on council, but I think we should cut them up into 4 or 5 little chunks and determine if council wants to modify or not our bylaws or send a letter to the province or whatever it is, but I'll remove it from today. So I'm okay with one as long as, and if you want me to make an amendment, but so.
Merci, Conseiller Bourgeois. Nick, would you like to respond?
Yeah, so we council in the coming months for review. And so a lot of these elements fall under the pursuit of bylaw. So certainly you could bring it up at that, in those discussions.
Thank you, Nick. So we have a mover and a seconder. Any other questions? Any more questions? No. So we go to the vote. So is this electronic? Oui. So the vote is unanimous in favor of the motion. Merci.
Next are reading of bylaws, et lecture des arrêtés municipaux, and there's one this evening. It's by a bylaw, and I need to have permission for second reading. And it's a, yeah.
Donc, second reading, is this second?
This
or
is
third?
for 2 McLaughlin.
So is this third reading or?
No, it's a second reading.
Second reading, okay. Go ahead.
I need a mover and a seconder.
Okay, so could I have a mover and a seconder for this?
Butler.
C'est Léger, Conseil Leblanc.
Charles Leblanc. Okay. A bylaw and amend, no, can you, we need not an electronic vote, but a manual vote. We need a manual vote.
We're going to raise our hands?
Yes.
Okay.
For
C'est beau,
second reading.
donc, any questions on this? If not, we can vote. C'est beau. Lève la main. Merci.
Merci. And we note that Councillor Crossman is not in the room. A bylaw and amendment of a bylaw relating to the adoption of the City of Moncton zoning bylaw being bylaw Z 222.45 to McLaughlin Drive. This is a second reading. Arrêté portant modification de l'arrêté concernant l'adoption de l'arrêté de zonage de la ville de Moncton sur l'arrêté Z 222.45 de Promenade McLaughlin. C'est la deuxième lecture. I will need third reading. A mover and a seconder.
Conseiller Richard and conseillère Leblanc.
Okay. C'est beau. And I'll need an electronic vote on this one. To be noted.
Merci. It's a unanimous vote. Councillor Crossman is absent.
Yes. A bylaw and amendment of a bylaw relating to the adoption of the City of Moncton zoning bylaw being bylaw Z 222.45 to McLaughlin Drive. This is a third reading. Arrêté portant modification de l'arrêté concernant l'adoption de l'arrêté de zonage de la ville de Moncton sur l'arrêté Z 222.45 de Promenade McLaughlin. C'est la troisième lecture. And 11.2 will not be given second and third reading. It'll be done on May 20th. Next are notice of motions and resolutions, avis de motion et de résolution. And the first is a notice of motion for procedural bylaw avec conseiller Bourgeois. Je vais donner la parole.
Reviewing the procedural motion. This was unknown to me when I sent this to Shelley, so I will also remove this one. And we will consider it whenever we review the procedural bylaw. Merci beaucoup, Madame la Maire.
Merci, Conseiller Bourgeois. That is.
No, I have a resolution appointment of building inspector for Carolyn Roy. Now therefore be it resolved that Carolyn Roy, building inspector, is hereby authorized and appointed to act for and on council's behalf pursuant to acts, regulations, bylaws referenced in the motion to conduct inspections for the purpose of administering or enforcing applicable acts, regulations, and bylaws referenced above. Be it further resolved that Carolyn Roy, building inspector, is hereby authorized and appointed to act for and on council's behalf pursuant to the acts, regulations, and bylaws referenced above in the motion. To issue notices, demands, or orders and lay informations with the Provincial Court of New Brunswick to ensure compliance with acts, regulations, and bylaws referenced in the motion.
You need,
A mover and a second.
I need a mover and a seconder for this. Conseiller Léger and Conseiller Richard.
And an electronic vote.
The vote is unanimous in favor. Merci. Conseiller Richard, vous voulez clore la réunion? C'est beau. Merci. Merci. Merci à tous. Hein. Comment?